friends, it's Joelle here, your favorite life coach. And what I want to talk to you guys about today is imposter syndrome. This has been a topic that has come up in a lot of my friend circles. I've dealt with coaching clients with this issue. I myself have dealt with this issue. So I wanted to bring this to our forum so that we can break this down. So what we're going to talk about today is what imposter syndrome is, what it feels like, and how to overcome it. So let's dive in. So imposter syndrome is actually the difference between how you perceive yourself and how others perceive you. Now, we first started hearing about imposter syndrome back in the 70s. There were these two female psychologists that were doing research on high-performing people, and the research was showing that all of these people were suffering from used to be called imposter phenomenon. So basically, it was them feeling like people were going to find out that they were a fraud, that I've performed high and I've achieved all these things, but in reality, I'm not, it's luck. I'm not really deserving of these accolades and these achievements. So that's really kind of a high level overview of when imposter syndrome really started rearing its ugly head and a definition of what it actually is. So let's talk about what imposter syndrome feels like. So it feels like self-doubt. So you're constantly doubting yourself despite your education, your achievements, your experience. You're in a constant state of self-sabotage, and it feels like unworthiness, like I'm not good enough and I don't deserve this, and I really won't be able to really pull this off because I'm truly just not good enough. And when they find out I'm not good enough, then everything's going to come to a head, like it's going to be a wrap. Perfectionism. I am guilty of this to the nth degree. What perfectionism feels like is everything has to be done perfect because you don't want to be looked at as less than, and you don't want to feel or be found out as a fraud. So you have to do everything perfect. And sometimes that can cause you to procrastinate, which I am very guilty of, because you spend so much time combing through everything before you actually want to do it because it has to be perfect. And then another common category of feeling is anxiety and stress. So by the time you have been a perfectionist, you've procrastinated, you've overanalyzed, you missed out on things because you didn't jump at it because you were too busy trying to think about it and make sure it was perfect, or by the time you deal with your unworthiness and every day you're questioning yourself, all of these things lead to anxiety and stress. And a lot of us are dealing with anxiety and stress, and we really don't understand where it's coming from. And you have to think, possibly it could be imposter syndrome. So let's talk about how to overcome imposter syndrome. I can tell you, based on my practice, actually diagnosing yourself is 70% of the battle, because then your mind is able to process when you start to feel these emotions that we talked about earlier, the unworthiness, the perfectionism, the fear that I'm going to be found out. You will be able to then stop yourself. So step number one in overcoming is understanding and accepting that you have it. That's a huge part of the battle, because you are able to then open yourself up to fixing it. You have to change your perspective and understand that success does not require perfection. There are millions of successful people that do not do things perfectly. They didn't start out perfect. And so that's the perspective that you have to have, and that you have to tell yourself once you understand that you have imposter syndrome. Understanding that success does not require perfection. Step two in overcoming imposter syndrome is pivot. When you find yourself judging yourself and you're going down this tailspin of unworthiness or perfectionism, and you're working yourself up into this anxiety and stress ball inside about whatever it is you're focused on, immediately catch yourself and shift from judgment to kindness and acceptance about yourself. Understand, again, keep telling yourself, success does not equal perfection. I can take a step back from this particular project or this particular issue or this relationship, whatever it is, and I can look at it holistically and accept myself for who I am and where I am on my path. Step 3 is affirmations. I am a huge affirmations advocate. I'll walk with you through how to write affirmations, what affirmations are, but the best way to reprogram yourself out of those imposter syndrome feelings is to continue to affirm that you are worthy, that success does not require perfection, that you are on the path that you should be on, etc. So affirmations would be step 3. And then step 4 is EFT. That is emotional frequency tapping. I have another video on this, so make sure you check it out. But high level, it is almost like acupuncture. So you know how acupuncture uses needles and certain pressure points, and that is going to give your body a relief of some sort. It impacts organs or anything that it's trying to accomplish. EFT, or emotional frequency tapping, is kind of like acupuncture without the needles. So the concept is there are pressure points that you can tap on that and talk to yourself, and it will kind of, I don't want to say throw yourself off balance, but it wakes up your subconscious, and you're basically programming in a new belief about yourself through this tapping rhythm. So I have a video on it. Absolutely check it out. But those are my recommendations on how to overcome imposter syndrome. I hope this has been an awesome session. I hope that I've given you life and I've given you everything that you needed to know on your quest to rid yourself of imposter syndrome. I love you guys. Talk to you soon.